Let's go to the next slide after this one. Great. Okay. So the most common heat pump you'll see is an air source heat pump. They look like this. They're basically an air conditioner that can also work in the reverse. They have these mini splits that where you just see the interior one, but they also have ones that are ducted like a standard home air conditioner if you already have ducts. It's a very cost-effective way to electrify your home, especially if your air conditioner is about to break. So the time you replace a ducted air conditioner is not when your furnace breaks, but when your air conditioner breaks. So even if you still have the furnace, that's the time to plan for. Next slide, please.
And then you could kick that furnace on a really cold day. You could still.
You could.
You have the furnace still. You can still run.
Yeah, there's one reason not to do that, which is that the Central Hudson rebates are larger if you get rid of your furnace. They designed that because they don't want people to just put in the heat pump for air conditioning. Although they give you there's an in between stage where if you put in a special thermostat that automatically switches back and forth, you can keep both, but it's not quite as big a rebate. Geothermal is the best option if you have a historic home that you can't insulate well, like the brick homes or a very large home. Geothermal works like an air source heat pump. It's also called a ground source heat pump. Instead of taking heat in and out of the house to the outside air, it takes heat in and out of the house to the ground. And so it doesn't have the problem on really cold days because the ground doesn't get cold. They are, however, much more expensive to install. And that's why they're typically not the solution for most people. But if you have a very hard to deal with home that you can't insulate it, it's an option. It can produce some hot water. It is more efficient, but it's just upfront cost versus the over economics. Some people also like them for aesthetics. You don't have those exterior units. And it does have a bigger tax credit. And if you don't have room to drill wells. Next slide, please. The heat pump water heater is especially important for this campaign because with the current credits available, you can get a new one installed for nearly free and definitely for less than an electric water heater. So Central Hudson has a $1,000 rebate, and there is a federal $2,000 tax credit up to 30%, but that's 30% before the $1,000 rebate. As you can see, you can buy one at Lowe's for $1,700. Install, any plumber and electrician can do it. So maybe $1,000. So $3,000, you're going to get $1,000 off from the federal tax credit and $1,000 from Central Hudson. And it is the third biggest energy user for most households. So it pays for itself very quickly, especially if you have, say, 4 people in that household. That's one of those things in a larger household, it's one of those things you'd replace even before it's time for the old one to go, just because they're so cost effective. Next slide, please. The tax credit, by the way, is unfortunately the same tax credit for the air source heat pumps. So it's capped at $2,000 per year. So if you do both, you're only going to get $2,000 unless you spread it out over 2 years. Next slide, please. Here's a list of a lot of financial incentives. We can't go through all of them, but there are lots. Great site for that is rewiringamerica.org. Next slide, please. NYSERDA has some low-cost loans. They have extra cash back on electric vehicles. And then there are a lot of rebates that are administered through Central Hudson as well, mostly for the home improvements. Next slide, please. And since I can't fit everything you need to know into 20 minutes, as Kristen said, I am an energy coach for New Yorkers for Clean Power. If you go to nyforcleanpower.org, go to the coaching, you can sign up for a free 45-minute coaching session. There's me. We have a couple EV experts if you're looking to buy an EV. And we talk you through what's right for your home, what's right for or for your driving habits if you're looking at EVs, and can cover a lot of things more than heat pumps too. It just sort of tailors to you. A lot of people really give me feedback that they like to have someone who isn't trying to sell them something, give them feedback on that. So, and I cover a lot of things that aren't covered by these rebates too. You know, if you really want to know about the latest electric robotic lawnmower, I like raving about mine, and it's a good option. Next, I think that's it. Next slide. Oh, we also have another source of coaching. Next slide. The MidHudsonEnergyChoices.com. This is a state-sponsored program through Cornell Cooperative Extension. They do something similar. They'll really focus on, especially if you're lower moderate income, they're really good at helping you figure out the programs that can help, the state programs that can help you pay for it. And Q&A, but make sure, so especially with heat pumps, if you install a heat pump, which means air source heat pump, geothermal, or a heat pump water heater, make sure Kristen knows. If you do it through a coaching session with me, I'll make sure she knows too. If you sign up with community solar, same thing. And with actually an EV, you don't have to tell her. I can show you how to get that through the registration data. And you can also talk to the building department about those heat pumps too. But that should cover it. And here's the concept information. I'll take questions if the board thinks you have time.
We have time. Okay. Is there anybody questions from the audience?
How do we sign up for community solar?
Signing up for community solar, the easiest way to do it is if you have an online Central Hudson account, go to the Central Hudson website, save energy and money, community solar. They'll give you a list of solar farms to sign up with. Basically, the deal is always the same. They give you Central Hudson bill credits on your bill, size to be about what you use. They charge you 90% of the value of those bill credits. So they give you a $100 credit on your bill. They charge you $90. If you find one that says consolidated billing, which is what I recommend, both the charge and the credit appear right on the Central Hudson bill. So it's after you sign up, you don't even have to think about it. You just have a smaller Central Hudson bill. Yes?
The subject of our next meeting will be all about community solar. And we'll have step-by-step direction.
But if you understood me, sign up now because it saves you money. Right?
If you're on budget billing with Central Hudson and you sign up for a solar farm, will it connect?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know how it interfaces, but you will be saving money. How it changes your monthly payment, I don't know, but the direction will be that way.
Also if you have an EV vehicle or a hybrid, anything that's plugged in, you can contact Central Hudson. They will give you a lower rate for any kind of electric vehicle or plug-in hybrid. I have that plan.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. There's a special EV rate. There's actually two different EV rates right now, which is I'm on the time of use, but there's a new one called Smart Card.
So last time I checked with Central Hudson, you have to kind of do off-peak charging, and you have to have a certain percent of your electric usage that way. Otherwise, it bites you.
That's the time of use, but there's a new one called Smart Charge, which doesn't do that. The savings are slightly smaller, but there's no downside.
That's the one.
However, it only works with certain chargers and certain electric vehicles that Central Hudson can talk to so that they can track it. So not everyone with an EV can do it. All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sorry about the technical difficulties.
I think the clerk's report was already done, Tracy, right? All right. Highway report, Mike Schultes. You want to come to the front?
I got a big enough voice. I think everybody can hear me.
Well, we have to record it also.
I think it's recorded too, isn't it?
Well, it picks it up more accurately than near the mic.
Come on up, Mike.
It's up to you.
I won't bite you.
Can you hear me now, they say?
Yes.
We're getting ready to transition to our construction season. didn't have so much snow this year, but we used quite a bit of salt. And so we're gonna refurbish the salt shed, put in a little bit more stockpile, but we're slowly transitioning over. The crews have been out trimming trees on the roads that we plan on paving this year. I have a problem with some of the blacktop that we're putting down that we're purchasing from the vendors right now because they're using a lot of slag. In other words, the material that they grind up from roads. I know that some of the paving companies bring in and they put up to 25% of slag, which is used blacktop that they've ground up from the roads in New York City. They bring it up on barge from New York City and they grind it up and they mix it with the fresh blacktop and it weakens the blacktop. So we're seeing some issues with the blacktop that we're putting down. So I know that there was some opposition to the new blacktop plant that was proposed to be opening on Route 28. The old blacktop plant up on the hill above Woodstock Harley Davidson won't be opening this year. And the new plant, we're hoping, meaning the highway superintendents and those that are blacking the road, we're hoping that they will be allowed to open because they use less slag in the big companies. And it gives a better quality of blacktop that we put down that lasts longer. Plus we can get the blacktop that we need because you have different grades of blacktop. So in other words, the size of the stone. So when you're using binder, that's big stone. When you use type 6, that's a 12 millimeter stone. When you use type 7, that's a 9 millimeter stone. And we use the type 7 a lot for when we're patching or for certain roads that we're top dressing. And we've been having a real difficult time getting that this past year. So, we're looking at that. We have a lobby day in Albany on March 6th. The legislature is considering cutting some of our CHIPS funding. So we're going to have a big contingency in Albany on lobby day up there for CHIPS funding because the prices are going up. So if anything, they should be increasing it instead of decreasing it. So we're going to have quite a contingency in Albany to push that. But otherwise, we're plugging along. I know that tomorrow we're supposed to get a lot of rain and the temperature is supposed to drop. So we're going to be out looking to make sure the roads are safe Wednesday night and Thursday morning. And I'm hoping after that, the temperatures look like they're moderating. We might be able to get away from all the plowing and the salting and everything. So we're looking forward to getting in, going on our construction season early this year. Last year we had a very late start. And some things did not get done because we had such a late start. So, we're ready to rock and roll on the drainage issues in town. And if anybody has questions, you can always call the office or call my cell phone and we'll take a look.
What about the new garage coming up?
We met this week. The preliminary contract is in the board's hands. We're hoping to get a signature on that tonight so we could get going. Excuse me. I think there's still a few questions out as, the access to the site because of Superfund. And so we have to do a little bit of homework on that. I'd really like to get started. The other question is about the water too, about if we have to dig a test well to check the water for PFOs. And, the committee's been working hard, getting a lot of information together. Again, our hope is to try to find enough money so we don't have to go in taxpayers' pockets. So it's quite a task. The costs have gone up since 2018 when I first proposed it. I think we're up somewhere. Well, we don't know yet. We got to get
3 more times. Yeah, and the thing is, though, at the next meeting, the agenda meeting, we're going to dedicate the entire meeting to talking about the garage and getting started with it. And I'm going to invite some people to come down and do a presentation and show it what kind of a garage we'd like to have. One of the things that we'd like to do, and again, I may be jumping the ball a little bit, like the dead center of Hurley is by the old garage. That's dead center. And our wishful plan is to move the town hall up there also. Have both the garage up there, have the town hall up there, also using net carbon zero.
Yeah, we're looking at all the possibilities we have, and again, it's a lot of work to get done.
Yeah.
I know that the garage that we're in now, I shouldn't say garage, I said the warehouse that we're in now, and I invite anybody in public if they want to take a tour of it. I know Councilman Kelly came up And I took him through it. Anybody that wants to come up and take a look at where we're at now, you're more than welcome. You know, we have a tough time doing the job in there because we can't raise the bodies of the truck. Today, we couldn't get the door down because the door track fell apart, so we had to have somebody come in and so we can try to get the door down. But you know, we're making do. We really need to get a home for the highway department for the future, and the vision is that this garage that we do put up is going to be 50 years out. You know, we don't want to build something that's
At least.
defunct already. So you know, we went down, we looked at the Warsing project. I know that there's another one going on in Northeast. So we've been working hard behind the scenes trying to bring it towards the town board and the public. So,
All right, so at the next agenda meeting, we will dedicate the entire meeting, basically.
I should have more information by then.
Okay. And I got to know, we do have the proposal here that's sent in here. I'd like to have the town board look at it, go through thoroughly, and then, you know, in 2 weeks' time, we'll come back and see what we can do with that.
All right,
We
well,
definitely are moving forward.
time's of the essence. It's going to take a year just to get the permits and everything in place before it can go out to RFP. And I'm concerned about the cost of steel and the cost of you know, building materials.
I just want to give the town board, you know, just look at it. They have the proposal. I have the plans that were brought up more or less coming through. And so like,
Pete Glass and I met here, the chairman of the committee, siting committee, and we drew up plans. We cut down on the size of the building a little bit of what they had down in Warsing. You know, we'll utilize the wash bay as storage also. Okay. So we're trying to cut costs any way we can.
one of the nice things about where we site in the garage, it's our land. We're not going to buy anything. You know, so that's going to be a cost saving right there. Coming through.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed that everything works out with the super fun site and
Mike.
all the water and everything else. So.
Mike, are we using like LEED and the top energy efficient building practices for this?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We had Kristen Shower at the meeting, and she's going to have a big hand in deciding what's going on with that.
Now, I know I've been following the proposal of electric trucks. And last month, the state pretty much stepped away from that because it's not efficient. You don't have enough charge to go out and plow snow and heat the cab of the truck, and all the lights and everything are going. So, you know, what I'm looking at is the hydrogen motors seem to have more promise in the future. So unless they come up with some kind of a different battery going in the future, but we have to keep in mind when we're building this, if it is going to be a battery that we have to be able to bring the power, three-phase power in to charge these trucks. So there's, you know, the future is still not clear on what.
Yeah, I would say it would be recommended to bring three-phase power.
You know, at the site that we were there already, we already met with the DEC, and even though the site below it, in the landfill, is a Superfund site, they said that putting the garage up here would be fine.
Where is the site?
The site is actually up on by the brush pile, further up in the brush pile, on top of
Above the brush pile?
What's that?
Above the brush pile?
In that area.
Above on the cliff?
On the
Mike,
cliff,
is that
perhaps.
up on the cliff?
So anyway,
No, I'm asking a question.
well, I'm not going to engage right now. I'm talking to the board.
So you're gonna keep all this stuff private from the people?
No, I'm not gonna engage with you because you're abusive.
You have
an opportunity.
I've already had-
Mike,
So what I want to do is, you know, when we want to do a site visit, you're all welcome to come up. There may be some legislative actions that'll be taken depending on where they go. We have Bonnie Franson up there. She approved the site. You know, several engineering firms approved. So I mean, it's.
well, we've been up there with two engineering firms, and they both agree in there. And when I was there anyway, and Bonnie Franson, who was chosen to site the garage, has also agreed on that same site. And she has a maps and everything, and so we're going forward with it.
Biggest thing is, the DEC said they probably should test the water, that's all.
That's the first thing we're gonna do. We're gonna test the water. They suspect that the water will be fine, the way the structure is and how high it is away from the landfill.
Yeah, John.
Mike, I know you got a late start last year on the road maintenance plan. Just inquiring, what didn't get done last year? Will that be the first thing on your list to start with this year? on your pavings and such?
Say that again, man?
Your road maintenance plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know last year you got a late start, so I know a lot of that wasn't completed. So I just want to know where you're at. Are you gonna be starting where you finished? You left
Well,
off, I should say?
The couple of roads that we didn't get to last year, you got High Rocks, you got, Rosa Lane. We're trying to get, easements from the people at the end for, cul-de-sacs, because right now it's tough to get turned around. So I was working with the property owners on the end of Rosa. And I put a letter out to the guys that own the property at the end of High Rocks. And, we really need to have a better turnaround for the big trucks. So I'm hoping that we can get that, but I don't want that to limit us. Being that the roads by use, they're both very narrow roads. And we have trees that are encroaching on the road that we also need to get them to agree to. So I don't want to go in there and spend, $50,000-$60,000 and not have a good road that's going to hold up for 10, 15 years.
And Mike, I don't want to end up in a situation like last year where there was an emergency on the 284 agreement. So when's your plan to bring that before this board?
Next meeting,
Excellent.
working on it right now. A lot of roads are in disrepair right now because this past winter took its toll between the 36 inches of water we had and then the freeze thaw ratio. It tore quite a few roads up. So
How are we doing with the stormwater drains and the queues going through? How are we doing with the stormwater drainage? Talking about Wildwood and so forth.
well, Wildwood's ready to go out to RFP. It wasn't a fall.
All right,
I tried to push that to go out to bid
okay.
last November, but it never made it to the board. But that one's ready to go out.
Will you get that to the board and we'll,
Dennis already gave it to the board. I'll have him contact you tomorrow if you want.
please do. Let's get that out. Let's get that started.
We're working on the easements. We're trying to put together the 6 or 7 easements that are going to be needed for that drainage project down behind Brittany Drive that has been affecting so many owners down there. And Bernier and Laos are going to get those meets and bounds over to the town attorney, and then we can get the easements drawn up. And I'm hoping that everybody is in agreement to sign those easements, because if one person doesn't sign that easement, then it holds the project up. So it's always an iffy situation, but if everybody agrees and
Would you come to the board and let us know if we could do anything to help with those easements?
I will.
A suggestion that I have, and Mike dovetails into this, would be at potentially the next or the following agenda meeting that we go through. There's a lot of these town-wide issues, all these different drainage issues and things, and just updating the public as to listing out all of the issues that we have going on, and then where the status is on each one of these. That way there's sort of a full, town-wide update as far as we're working on the highway garage, it's in this status. We're working on the drainage on this road, it's in this status. That way there's,
The biggest thing is that we have.
Scatter shot when people are asking questions.
The biggest thing is that we have the money in the account. I know that the townwide drainage account wasn't replenished. And I don't even know how much is left in that right now. I don't know.
Even if we're talking about listing out all the drainage projects and saying these are the ones for 2024, 2025, 2026, that way people can see okay, my stuff's moving, I'm moving up the list here.
Yeah, the way we prioritize it is how many residents are directly affected by the increased water flow from stormwater. I know that this year we'll probably be working on Arnold Drive. We have issue over there. I mean, there's quite a few. I'll go over that with you.
One thing I want to do, Michael, I just, Deb and I actually went down to Greenway, and I was very impressed, not with the composting as much, but I was very impressed at how they handled the water storm drains there. I mean, we thought that was impressive.
Yeah.
And, we spoke to Shabazz about this thing, and I think that's doable in the town, and I'd like you to go down
Yeah,
there.
but they're on a farm, so they already own all the land, so they don't have to go get the easements. I mean, the Wildwood that Miss Donald was down here talking about, I started that when I was supervisor in 2006,
Yeah.
17 years later. We finally, the one property owner passed away, left it to his wife, and she wanted $80,000, and then finally one of the neighbors bought it, and she gave us the easement on it, and I got that project going. The one that's going to be starting here in a few weeks up on Kimball Terrace, that one was held up for
15 years.
10 years. And then finally the house sold, the owners left, the new owners gave us the easement, so
I'm just saying though,
so we're really because we have so many roads by use. And we have to utilize private property in order to get rid of some of this drainage. You know, we're sort of at the behest of the landowners. If they don't sign on, then the project's dead. And that's what's happened in several of these projects.
Or maybe it's the best thing for us to do as a town board is to get these people here and educate them what's going on. And see that, you know, in order to get the drainage issue done, you gotta have cooperation all the way through.
You need cooperation from all landowners, and you need the money to get it done.
Okay.
And it's not getting any cheaper every
I
year.
know that. But as I said, we were just very impressed with the setup there. I know that's farm country and so forth, but still,
Well,
it looks like, it could be.
one thing that we're doing to try to alleviate some of the water on the Brittany Drive project was, there was one easement that went across Holland Drive at around 42, and went up to the pump houses. And that had a 24-inch culvert on it. But somewhere along the line, the ditch in the right of way got filled in.
Right.
And it's diverting a lot of water down the old Central Hudson right of way. So we want to go in and open that up. So I'm going to have them come up, and the surveyors are going to mark both sides. They've already surveyed it. Now I want them to mark both sides so we can go up, clean that out, and make sure that water's running down the right way. And then we're going to go in all the easements over Hurley Ridge that haven't been touched in 60 years. I mean, there's trees, tulip trees this big growing up in the easements in the waterway. So we want to get those all cleared out. So that's one of the items that we're going to tackle with part of the crew this year.
All right, okay,
So,
so let's get started. As
Yeah,
soon as we
so
can.
we're like I said, we're hoping to get an early start this year. We were just talking about it today, and I was like, I don't want to open up the roads yet and the ditches because we could get one more, you know, March line. So my gut feels we're going to get one more blast, and then maybe we can get rolling.
Sure.
All right, thank
Any
you.
other questions on the board? Yes. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Michael, you'll stick around? We have something, later on?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I want to introduce also Bill Hassione, the CAC and the CRC. Yeah, to toss that, you know, the committee. Yeah, yeah.
Sure. Hello, Joan Passione. I'm the chair of the Comprehensive Plan Committee and the Conservation Advisory Council. Is this on?
I believe so.
You guys
Oh,
get,
okay.
you have to get a little closer. You want to take it off the,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm loud enough. I'm here to announce that we received, the town has received a grant for $36,000 to help us with professional information that we need, the professional consultants to do our natural resource inventory. That inventory will then feed into the comprehensive plan, so we make the future, what the future of Hurley is going to look like. Okay? It was awarded by the DEC and the Hudson River Estuary Program. They were the ones that gave us the money. And I just want to say, and recognize the people on my team. And there's Kristen Chara, Aaron Nyland, Andy Shapiro. I did see Greg, did he leave?
Somebody just walked out.
Oh, he may
I
have
think it
gone
might
in.
have been him.
Okay, Greg Tetroff. All right, they're just part of it. And I do have a few other members, David Yazzo, Ralph Dunham, and Karen Gill. Okay, they'll be working on it. We will have open meetings, and if anybody has any, you know, information or anything you would like to do, please come and join us. It's your town. Okay, thank you.
Also, by
And I would-
CRC.
The comprehensive, okay,
Right.
but I would also like to thank the board, the prior board for helping us with this, and this board also for supporting to get these grants done. The comprehensive committee is a different committee, and we'll be sending out surveys shortly. Yeah, we have to, because we got very little results, and very few people did answer the prior survey. So we have a new survey, and that's going to be very important for town input to look at the future of our town, look at what we have now, okay, and where we want our town to be. And that's all the landowners and people who live in the town. It'll be their input as to what we do with our town. And then we're gonna be building the maps, and we will be building, you know, what our town will look like. And that goes the NRI that we got the grant for will go into that comprehensive plan. And when I say comprehensive, it's the whole town. And we look at everything. So you're invited. We'll post our meetings on the internet and on our website, and anybody can come in if you'd like. All right?
How are those surveys gonna go out?
Well, what we're going to do is we thought about sending out a hard copy to everyone, but we decided we'll use postcard, and then they can do it on the internet. And if someone doesn't want to do it on the internet, then we'll have copies here for us. That's great. You missed your introduction. So that's what we
I
figured
know
we'd
quite
do.
a few people that can't get on the internet.
Well, that's why we want to make it available for everybody. And if those people would call, maybe we'll put some kind of a blurb on the town website, and we can either mail them a copy or they can come in and pick it up. Because it's very, very important that as many as possible let us know where they want this
The
town to go.
postcard will go out to everybody. so
Should go to
they'll
every
know.
homeowner, every
And then
homeowner.
That'll let them know they can also come down here and pick up a hard copy. Perfect. Thank
So
you.
we'll do it, yes.
You're gonna put a QR on the back?
We're
of
gonna
that?
put a
Yes.
QR. That's Greg's area there. I know nothing about that. So, it's your gift.
Is it possible on the postcard to actually establish a pre-return postage and just have them actually fill it out and just send it back in the mail?
That's an idea.
There's not enough space.
Yeah, on a postcard, yeah. Right, there wouldn't be, right? Because what's a postcard about? It's too expensive to hand, to send everybody a 2-page survey to have them mail it in,
No, I'm referring to bullet points that potentially would be on the card itself. I don't know what your list is, but that's okay. I understand.
Are we gonna have open houses again?
possibly. So this way, the more input we get, the better.
Target date?
Target, I want to get it done by the end of the year. We are getting, that's right. Slave drivers will get it done. But yeah, we will definitely try to get it done. This way we can have that, and that goes into the zoning.
Exactly.
Okay, so we want to accomplish everything that we can as quickly as possible to help Hurley become the greatest place to live. This is a great place now. We want to make it better. We really do.
Keep Hurley, Hurley.
Thanks, Joan.
Keep Hurley, you're welcome.
Thank you. Are there any other committee, chair people present there that want to speak about their committee? All right, okay, the supervisor's report, basically, I cannot give you financials. The reason being, we can't give you financials. The books were incomplete in 2023. We don't have a starting balance at all in January, so we don't know. What we have done is we've actually opened up new accounts. We just got the, okay to do new accounts, both checking and savings, and we're now using those accounts. And what we're doing there, that is like ground zero. That's zero. So now we can start from this point on getting financials while we work backwards to finish the financials of 2023. For the second year in a row, we are going to be delayed on our annual financial review to the controller's office. When I spoke to them about being delayed, they were not happy with it because this is the second consecutive year that we're going to be delayed. And they have asked us basically to go through and do an audit also with it, and then send the results of the audit out to them to allow them to look at what's going on. So we are in the process right now, being shorthanded also, that we need like basically all hands on deck to help with this whole thing, because it's a big task to go through and get the work done well. That's what we're gonna do. Simple as that. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna get this thing all straightened out. Okay. All right, resolutions. Okay, the first one here, the first one here is, it's not actually a resolution. What we have done here, we have put in the job description for both the planning board and for the planning board secretary and for the ZBA secretary. And what we're gonna do is, I want to give the board a chance to read this, go through it, comment on it, and then come back at the next board meeting and then pass a resolution to accept these job descriptions for those two positions. All right, so again, it's all here in the package more or less, and it's going to be basically done. And basically, these job descriptions were taken off the internet, taken off of other towns more or less. We added a few things here, and I think it's quite good. The board has to look at it, and I'm sure with their comments, they're gonna just make this a more efficient, document more or less. Okay, the next thing here is I'm gonna talk to Deb for a couple of resolutions.
Which one do you want me to start with?
Start with the zoning board, members.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and read this for you. This is a resolution to appoint new members to the zoning board of appeals. Whereas local law 210-58 provides that the zoning board of appeals, or the ZBA, should consist of 7 members, but currently only has 5 members. And whereas ZBA Chair Joshua Vogt has made recommendation for a new appointment. And whereas Liston Freeman will fill the remainder of the term vacated by Deborah Doherty. That's us. Therefore, be it resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to appoint Liston Freeman to the zoning board of appeals with a term ending on 12/31/2027. The ZBA members and the terms will now be as follows. There is still one open position yet to be determined, and that term is 12/31/29. Warren Shams is term ends 12/31/28. Kara Snyder, her term ends 12/31/28. Liston Freeman, this new assignment is 12/31/2027. Alex Mara is 12/31/26. Joshua Vogt, 12/31/25. And Andy Shapiro, 12/31/24.
As you can see, there's still a vacant position here that we're looking for, so, the town isn't run by us, it's run by all of us, including you people. And what we need from you is to come down and help. This makes it easier for us and easier for you guys. So anybody that feels they are qualified, and being qualified means you live in the town, basically. Come, Deb here is the liaison to the ZBA. She was a very valuable member on the ZBA. She now became a town board member. Had to go for a seat, more or less. We still have one position there. We're looking for somebody. So anybody in the audience here that feel that who wants to contribute, who wants to help out.
Just like you have the time and the passion, we're looking for help.
Mike, you need a second on the resolution.
Yes.
I'll second.
All right. Do we have a second on the resolution?
All in favor?
Open
Open for discussion, sorry, open for discussion. Any discussion? Any questions? Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All in
So
favor?
carried.
So carried. Thank you. Next one, keep things in the-
The secretary.
Oh.
Be a secretary.
Okay,
Okay.
I think it's right before, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, so this is a resolution for job description. This is a job description one, though. I think we weren't gonna talk about that, right?
Well,
Let's see. Put in the wrong order, maybe?
we'll figure it out.
Job descriptions I have from page before.
Yeah, that's the job description, right?
Highway superintendent, list vehicle options international.
Yes. What, you want to read from him?
Maybe I'm missing. Yeah, let me just read it over yours. Yeah, it's not in our packet. It's not in our packet. Read it over. Sorry, guys. That's the one I just read.
Which one are you looking for?
This is one I just read. Yeah.
I have all of them.
Well, we don't have it here, but
Well, we'll make it. We'll come back. Yeah, we'll just.
all right, we'll table to. That's it.
Nope.
That's the one with the, it's blank there.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a new one.
No, I know the name.
Oh, okay.
The name was left blank, and we can put it in right now. Is that the right information?
I think so.
It's on the town
This is correct.
It is? Yeah, so on the town website. Yeah, I think it is.
That's it. Samantha Moore.
Peter's been around, so.
A copy
It's on
of
the
it.
town website, right?
And copies of all of them.
Okay, for me to start?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is a resolution to appoint a part-time zoning board of appeals secretary. Whereas there's currently a vacancy for the zoning board of appeals ZBA secretary, whereas the chair of the ZBA, Joshua Vogt, has vetted and approved a candidate. Therefore, it be resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley that Samantha Moore is appointed to the part-time position of secretary to the zoning board of appeals, civil service number 5900 exempt, at the hourly rate of $17 per hour for a maximum of 8 hours per week, 416 hours annually, budget code A8010.1 for $7,072.
I'll second.
Thank you. And discussion?
I just want to give her little qualifications on Samantha Moore. She is the planning secretary to Trout Unlimited. She is a teacher on maternity leave right now, and she's also a bookkeeper.
Yep.
You know, so and when Josh Vogt interviewed her, he was impressed.
So that's his recommendation.
That is his recommendation. And the thing is, though, that we on the zoning, we on the town board, we control who the secretary of the ZBA is. And what we like to do, we always like to do, say, is get the approval, get the recommendation from the chairperson, and we go with what that recommendation is and so forth. And this is his choice that he has done. I think it's a wonderful choice.
I agree with it. Okay,
Make a motion.
yep, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So be it, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Oh, one absent.
Yeah.
We have that one here.
Authorize highway superintendent to this vehicle option to the next.
You want to read that, Tim?
Sure. This is dated February 27, 2024, whereas the town of Hurley Highway Department maintains 54 miles of town roads for the safe travels of the residents and the public, whereas the highway superintendent has identified the need to replace a 2013 F-250 4x4 pickup with the plow, which is rusted, unsafe spine, and poor working condition with approximately 170K miles, and a 2021 F-550 dump with plow and sander, which is underpowered for plowing our mountain roads and if auctioned now will improve what the town paid. And whereas the superintendent would like to get the orders in for processing as it takes several months or longer to take delivery of vehicle, therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to authorize the highway superintendent to list with Auctions International and sell to the highest bidder.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I don't have any questions. We talked about this last time.
Yeah, if there were questions, we did talk about last time why this is going on. And I believe Mike Schultz has stated that he feels that he can get basically the price that was bought at, we can get that same price back. So that'll be a good thing.
Mike, can you establish a baseline on that?
You're gonna put a reserve on that truck? Yes. You will? Okay. And then, yeah, let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I vote aye. Opposed? One absent, motion carried.
Next resolution, authorizing the supervisor to sign a contract with Corporate Associates. A little background first about this. This deals with the Superfund site, the landfill that has PFOAs and PFAS in there. The amount of what the state minimum, the MCL, the maximum contaminant level of PFAS and PFOAs is 10 parts per trillion, which is very tiny. We have the EPA limit is 100 parts per trillion. What we have at the landfill right now is 300 parts per trillion, both PFAS and PFOAs. And the thing is, though, when we spoke to it, and I've done some research on this, that's a tiny amount. If you compare it to like Hoosick Falls, which has 300,000 parts per trillion.
350,000.
350,000 parts per trillion. We talk also about Saugerties that have over close to 100,000 at certain points. The fact is, though, that here, this does not affect the municipality at all. It's not municipal water, and the hazardous waste was put there legally. It's not illegal. Most of the P5s and PFOAs that are present there come from styrofoam cups. And styrofoam cups happen to be the most pollutant or the second most trash that's found in the landfill. So I'm sure that that's full of that more or less. I have spoken to the DEP and I spoke to the Department of Energy. Wishful thinking. They may want to buy the landfill. And you know, we are having discussion on this right now. Yeah, all right. Good. Whereas the town's leachate collection system is working, a designated as designed by future repairs are anticipated, and whereas the town needs to continue with annual post-closure ground and surface water monitoring, which has been conducted by Crawford Associates for the past 2 years, and whereas the landfill is a state Superfund site due to the presence of PFOA and PFOS, and Crawford Associates has positioned the town to receive funding for the next phase of investigating the landfill to determine the best remediation solution for the site. Therefore, be it resolved to the town board of the town of Hurley to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Crawford and Associates for their services related to these processes or any other issues that arises at the landfill as needed. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? We have filled out with Crawford Associates, filled out a grant for $1.32 million that we are in the queue right now, possibly to get to help with the remediation at the landfill coming through. The DEC has come to the town and said that we are responsible for the entire landfill cleanup. And so we have not signed a consent to do that kind of thing. They have allowed us to stay in the queue, realizing the fact that we are now in the queue for getting this grant. So once we're in the queue, they are holding back on that demand for us to pay the landfill. If we had to pay for the landfills, that would back with the entire town coming through here. All right. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the next one is, so we have the Crawford. Resolution to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with the UHY for an internal audit. Whereas protect the public interest, a new administration best practices requires an independent financial audit, and whereas an independent financial audit helps municipalities achieve accountability, transparency, improve operations, and instill confidence among residents, and whereas UHY is one of the nation's largest professional services firms providing audit, tax, consulting, and advisory services, and is equipped to handle an independent audit for the town. Now therefore be resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with UHY to perform an internal financial audit. Is there a second?
A second.
Discussion. This is at the request of the state controller. All right, because our books are incomplete, we don't have a real good financial reconciliation. We don't know what is out there and so forth. So they just would like to, we have notified the state about the situation and they have said to us, fine. They acknowledged our statement more or less, and they have asked us to go through an audit. And then once the audit is completed, present to the state. We can do an audit for their further review, and for any kind of further action they have. Any other discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Debbie, you want to read this one? It's a road safety committee.
Okay, this is also due to today's date. And this is resolution to form a safety committee for the town of Hurley. Whereas there does not exist a body that can focus on town safety, and whereas the town needs to review and update its emergency management plan, and whereas there is an urgent need to address emergency medical services, road safety, and disaster preparation, and whereas the committee will consist of no more than 13 members drawn from town departments and residents, as well as advisory members from key Ulster County divisions, And whereas the town departments in Ulster Hurley will put forth candidates for the committee and will solicit volunteers from town residents. And whereas once formed, the committee will elect a chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. And whereas Deputy Supervisor John Perry and Town Council member Deborah Doherty will sit on the committee as liaison and coordinate with the fire departments, town departments, and Ulster County organizations. Therefore, it be resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Hurley to approve the formation of a Town of Hurley Safety Committee consisting of 5 town residents, 1 member each from the Hurley and West Hurley Fire Departments, 1 member each from the Hurley and West Hurley Fire Department EMS squads, 1 member each from the Highway and Building Departments, and 2 advisory members, 1 each from the Ulster County Sheriff's Department and the Ulster County Emergency Management Division.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Tim. Any discussion?
You know, it's kind of a great thing because Debbie's dad was instrumental, was an EMS worker for the town of Hurley, instrumental.
In actually establishing the old Hurley residence.
Right, so I think it's only benefited that Debbie Dougherty liaison to this thing, and we are very, very grateful for that aspect of it. Thank you so much, Debbie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So be it, so be it.
No.
The next resolution we have is to give all committee members, all volunteers in town a free permit at the transfer station, as Peter Humphries has suggested. We are going to table that a little bit to get further discussion on what's going on. The you said, Peter, you know, we have to take into consideration. You're absolutely right about that. And we have to,
I just say move it to, I agree with it.
Yeah.
Just make it
well,
at the
we
beginning
are,
of
we
next
are.
year.
Yeah, we wanted to do it right now. in that
Yeah,
sense.
but you're already.
I know that, I know. So we're gonna actually take this back and see what we can do. I know the fact that a lot of committee members are also asking for a party. And my response is, if we're invited.
Well, back in the day, when we did a volunteer party at the, between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
From the recreation department and the town clerk's office for years and invited all the workers as well as every volunteer for every committee. That won't be something new, that will just be reestablished. It's something that was done for many, many years.
Excellent.
Excellent, that's a great idea. You're all invited too.
Another great reason to volunteer for a town.
I also, well, we also have to, we're taking a resignation from deputy town clerk. This is to Tracy Kelly. Maybe you want to read it, Tracy.
Okay.
Okay. This letter is to formally notify you of my resignation as deputy town clerk. Please understand, due to the unseen events in my personal life, I am asking to make this effective March 8, 2024. Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve as deputy town clerk and to serve the people in the town of Hurley. I have enjoyed getting to know you and the rest of the staff, and wish all of you nothing but the best as you continue on your path here at the town hall. If you have any questions during the time of transition where I may be helpful, please do not hesitate to call. Thank you once again for your time and patience in regards to this matter. Doreen Meyer. Doreen was involved in an accident, and okay. All right, next one. Resolution to acknowledge the deputy clerk resignation. Resolved that the town board acknowledges that Wendy Trojak has resigned has resigned from the part-time position of deputy town clerk, civil service, 2480, effective February 27, 2024, so as to accept another appointment with the town of Hurley. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion clarified, because you just read a resignation from one guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's, all right. In my haste, I should have paused between, the first one was a resignation of Doreen Meyer. This one is a resignation of
We
the
need
other,
to, as a board, move to accept her resignation.
right?
We need to move.
To accept,
I move that we, whereas Doreen Meyer has resigned.
Where
so
is
be-
that one?
So be it resolved,
It
that-
appears that.
um,
Where is
this
it?
board accept her
Just a
resignation.
letter.
I'll second.
Just make a suggestion.
It's not a resolution?
You can just amend.
You just amend the one.
Amend the one resolution to include both names. So somebody offered a
And
resolution.
so why don't you also during the discussion right now, explain that you have another resignation from the clerk's office. And then propose a resolution acknowledging, and you can write it, have resigning.
All right, so, the resolution that I just stated about Wendy Trojak resigning as a deputy clerk also includes the resignation of Doreen Myers as deputy clerk.
And I said,
Any discussion? All right, no discussion. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next resolution, resolution to appoint a full-time senior account clerk. Resolved that Wendy Trojak is appointed to the full-time position of senior account clerk, civil service number 5940. It's a competitive job at the hourly rate of $25 per hour for 40 hours per week. And that's 2,080 hours annually. Budget code is A1220.1 for $52,000. Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion?
I just want to put it in the record that Wendy has stated that she was cleared by the state comptroller's office, and she stated that on the record here at the January meeting. So I'd like that to be read into the record.
And I also want to state the fact that watching Wendy handle the books that were left incomplete, thoroughly professional, really professional. I'm really amazed. She has, looking the way, watching her work more or less, we're going to get this thing resolved. This whole thing resolved, and I am very appreciative that she fell into our last little bit. And I thank her for it, and I think the town will be benefiting from it.
I'd just like to thank the board and congratulate getting this squared away because, as you all know, we had another incident this week with non-billed and the bills not being paid. Us being unable to get fuel or Rex cars and that, and she was instrumental in helping me get that taken care of. So I look forward to working closely with the board and with the new senior county clerk.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So be it.
All over. That's.
John Perry, you want to read this one?
Is he allowed?
Is he allowed?
He's not a.
It's not a board member.
I can read it.
All right, Debbie. Or maybe even like, maybe Diana, but you,
She's on the resolution.
Oh,
Diana's
so-
good.
I'll read it. I'll take it.
all right.
Okay.
I know he thinks he's supervisor, but
He's in the middle.
Yeah. Well, you can,
I'll read the next one.
okay. Resolution. We're still floating. Resolution to reestablish the Town of Hurley Recreation Department. And today's date, whereas the Town of Hurley has always maintained a recreation board, and whereas during the pandemic event and meetings were put on hold, and whereas the recreation board consists of 5 or more residents of the Town of Hurley, a part-time recreation director, and a Town of Board member liaison. Therefore, be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Hurley to reestablish
you do
the
like that.
Town
part.
Recreation Board, and furthermore, be it further resolved to appoint councilperson Diana Klein as the recreation liaison.
I second it.
Any discussion?
I just, yeah, for discussion also, this is the recreation board.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment that for the record, the last thing that we did was the Easter egg hunt, the Good Friday of 2019, and then COVID hit, so.
I also want to say that the past administration applied for a $80,000 grant, ARPA grant, and that has come to fruition. I have spoken to the county legislator, to the members up there, and that check is being cut very shortly for $80,000. Congratulations to Linda McKnight for getting this done, and I guess to Peter also for helping me get this done. This is a bonus for us because we wanted to get that part in shape and get going there. It's right at this point, it's not even used at all. So we want to get that going there, and this is gonna help. This will help tremendously. So thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Peter.
Any discussion? Okay, put it up for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All in favor, none opposed. Greg absent. Motion passes.
Resolution to open a new general fund checking and savings account for the town of Hurley. Whereas the town of Hurley has not fully reconciled its monthly financials from 2023 and is in the process of completing this project, and whereas the town board desires to open a new bank account with the Bank of Greene County in order to have a clear starting point for 2024. Therefore, be it resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley as follows. One, that the supervisor be and hereby is authorized to open an account with the Bank of Greene County for the purposes of holding the general fund monies. Two, that the supervisor and deputy supervisor are authorized as signers on the accounts authorized therein. Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
Well, I just have a question, like, should the, actually say 2022, since that hasn't been reconciled?
2022 has been reconciled. They have issued they have sent in the AFR, the annual financial review for 2022.
But I thought it wasn't complete.
When I spoke to the county controller, she had some issues about it that she wasn't able to clarify to me what it is. And they want us to just go back and look at it in a sense. You know, but according to what I've seen so far, the monthly financials are about the week 22.
And like what-
Okay.
To what extent of the financials from 2023 aren't completed?
I'm sorry, say that.
What extent of the financials?
The only financials we have from 2023 end in April. We don't have May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
So no funds were tracked during those months that were expended?
We don't know. We don't know what the situation is. We are tasked to complete it, to find out what's going on. That's what we have to do, is we have to look at it and finally reconcile the entire 2023 year. And that's what we have to do. But in the meantime, what we have to do is we have to also reconcile this year. And we can't go back and reconcile that and get that done and then be 6 months behind this year. So what we're planning on doing is opening this account, and we're gonna move forward, going this way, and then move backwards, complete that and get the AFR. We have already requested from the state control office, and they have acknowledged it, that we are gonna be late on the AFR coming through. So we're trying our best to go through that. We have we don't know anything at all other than the fact that the financials haven't been reconciled. That's all.
So are we gonna put 2022 on this resolution?
Again, would you like
Amended?
you want to amend it to put 2022 in there also?
I would like to, yes.
Anybody second that motion?
Second.
Any discussion on that? All right, we have a motion to pass the resolution as here and also amended in 2022.
Amend first.
Pass it as amended.
We pass it as amended, though, as amended, the resolution. All right, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? All right,
Can you reread it?
all in favor? Aye, opposed? Resolution to open a night class checking account. Whereas in New York General Municipal Law, Article 5G, Section 119-0, Section 119-0, empowers municipal corporations defined as Article 5G, Section 119N to include school districts, boards of cooperative educational services, counties, cities, towns, and villages and districts to enter in, amend, cancel, and terminate agreements for the performance among themselves or one or the other of their respective functions, powers, and duties on a cooperative or contractual basis. And whereas the town of Hurley wishes to invest portions of its available investment funds in cooperation with other corporations and or districts pursuant to the United Class Municipal Corporation Agreement amended and restated as of, we have to fill that in, and we will do that afterwards. And whereas the town of Hurley wishes to satisfy the safety and liquidity needs of their funds, therefore be it resolved that the town board of Hurley, the town of the town of Hurley to authorize the supervisor to participate in the NICLAS program under the terms of NICLAS municipal cooperation agreement amended and restated as of. We will get this going through. What this really means is that as of this point right now, we have accounts in, both Green County and Bank of Green County, our general fund account is there and our checking account there. Our general fund account there now receives 5% interest. We've got a 3% increase in the past month. However, our checking account, which is somewhere in the million of dollars, does not get interest. NICLAS gives interest, where Bank of Green County compounds their interest monthly, NICLAS compounds their interest daily. So what we are going to do basically is we are going to take some of our checking account money, put it into NICLAS, allow them to collect interest, and then we can always transfer some of that money back in. But meanwhile, the money being transferred back in will be a lot more than what was transferred out and said. So this is how we are going to get more revenue, more interest to offset any kind of budget issues that we might have in the future coming through. Is there any more further discussion? There's a second.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, this is just basically we're moving money into this NICLAS account, which is a separate bank, correct?
It's a municipal bank, yes.
Into the municipal bank, which will generate interest on funds that would not generate
Yes.
interest.
Yes,
And then
yes.
as those funds are needed, we'll bring them back to the
Exactly.
Bank of Green County, the general fund checking account. Okay,
Exactly. That's what.
perfect.
As it stands right now.
And I'll second.
As it stands right now, where the money sits right now, there's no interest. And we can take that, part of that $1 million, whatever, and put it into this account, which will accrue interest daily. And then we can move it back to, checking as needed coming through. All right, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? So be it. I believe, there's one more here that this is a discussion for Mike Schultz about, radios, in the town drivers.
I'm gonna reintroduce it again, but we can discuss it at the, yeah, it's up to the
Okay,
board.
all right, so we'll table it. Okay.
But it's
We just
all-
got this today, right now, so, yeah, we're gonna look at it.
We're at the agenda meeting.
Okay,
I
sounds
just
good.
wanted to get it on the radar because, we just have, a lot of problems with safety.
All right. The next thing here we have is a professional service agreement with Town of Hurley Highway Garage Construction with Delaware Engineering out of Albany. This is, again, I just posted in here so the board can see this and read this, and we will have a full discussion and, a presentation at the next agenda meeting. And basically that entire meeting there will be focused on the town garage. And what we'd like to have, we have a large crowd here. We would like to have the same, that crowd and more so come down. We want to hear your opinions because,
Does it mean West Hurley?
we are meeting at West Hurley, yes, West Hurley Firehouse. And I think it's imperative because this affects everybody here. To get this garage done. And, as it is right now, we are spending $84,000 a year on a temporary garage with no sight inside us, no sight seeing of the garage here. And, that 84,000 for next year becomes 90,000. It is small change compared to how much the garage is going to cost. But at least that 80,000, 84,000, 90,000 can go to the new garage. And so, I think that it's imperative to have as many residents come down. Peter. Boy.
I'm not saying, can anyone hear me saying?
Yeah.
One thing I want to note is that we're raising a building outside the town of Hurley. That's important for everybody to understand. And I don't know what the legalities are. We have to pay property tax to another entity, the town of Hurley taxpayer dollars. I don't know the repercussions of that. And so we need to get the highway garage back in the town of Hurley. You may want to look at that one, what the legality is, because that's a trip net lease, so we're paying
I think
Rent,
it's a, I
plus we're
mean,
paying taxes. plus
the
we're
DEC
paying
pays
maintenance.
us taxes for the, the DEP pays for the reservoir. I think we're all right.
Mike, you have the other resolution.
For,
The city pays us taxes.
Well,
The executive.
Yes, I do.
Well, and there's the water thing, the
We want
last,
to do the water thing.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, before you do the water thing, I just want to make a comment about the Hudson Valley Water Company.
Where's that?
Friday, it's not on here. I just want to add this in because I think it's very important because I'm on there. And, Friday, I got a phone call from Laura Nordstrom from, the county executive office who had great news and then bad news. The great news was an $80,000 check is going to be cut to the town of Hurley for the rec program. The bad news is that Hurley, Hudson Valley Water Company, number 3, which is on Pine Street, this is about 17 residents. Their water tested positive for lead. All right. To me, that's another nail in Jeffrey Fuller's coffin. That, you know, we've had problems with Hudson Valley number 4, with all the problems there. Hudson Valley 3 basically was kind of clean, and now it isn't that way. So, what is happening is that the Public Service Commission has issued a statement to Jeffrey Fuller. He has until March 1st to show cause why his company should not be taken over by another operator. And so, I think this might convince him to like walk away. And hopefully will. And so therefore we will reserve our right to, you know, perhaps purchase those companies to see who the new temporary operator is and to judge that way, and then to see who the permanent operator would be. The suggestion that is being made right now that the Hudson Valley Water Companies 1 through 5, which encompasses Boyceville, encompasses Saugerties, encompasses our 2 districts here, as well as High Falls, Rosendale, be put together into one Ulster County water district. And I know this is something that John Perry has brought up previously. And I think now it is right for that to happen. And that would relieve our duty and sense, and you know, aid and help the all these residences in those homes more or less. Kathy Hochul has said the biggest problem, or the biggest infrastructure problem we have in New York State is clean water. We don't have clean water. And I think that's something that that hits home hard. So she said it's our residents, it's our fellow neighbors.
So I think you introduced this pretty well.
I know. And then Tim Kelly has another resolution. It wasn't posted yet because.
It was on the agenda that was on the internet.
Okay, all right.
Um,
All yours.
all right, so this is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to apply for drinking water supply protection program. Whereas the town board of the town of Hurley recognizes that clean, safe drinking water supplies are a vital resource to the town, and whereas New York State has a program known as the Drinking Water Source Protection Program, which provides for protection plan development, data interpretation, source water map development, and funding guidance for plan implementation. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Hurley, that the supervisor is authorized to apply to participate in the Drinking Water Source Protection Program. This resolution does not authorize any town funds to be expended.
I'll second.
So, just want to give a little more background on this. I've gone to 4 days of training now with the New York Association of Towns, and they had, you know, folks from all different, you know, state things and businesses and law firms and providing trainings and presentations. And there was, you know, 7 going on at one time. So obviously I wasn't able to hit all of them, but, I kind of hit the high points once for Hurley, and this was one that I attended, because of, you know, the ongoing things that we've seen. And what basically this does, this isn't money for infrastructure. Okay, what this actually is money, or they help us create, you know, a map of all the drinking water sources within the town. And Climate Smart, this is actually gets you guys points as well. So, and this is a cooperation between DEC, Department of Health, and Ag and Markets, actually. And it's basically, we put in our interest that we're interested in being in the program. Then they decide whether or not to accept. They look at it, whether to accept us. I think right now they've got 60 some municipalities involved in the program. And like right now, we don't actually as a town own a public water supply, but we have numerous private operators. And, you know, it would probably be, you know, a good move to, as part of both the comprehensive and the CRC, this is gonna end up in your,
It is gonna end up.
this is gonna end up with you guys, because the second step to this is actually, once they've accepted us, is to form civic participation groups for this. Which,
Okay.
if you have, like, the groups that we have,
We have some of the.
we're gonna land them in this as kind of a CAC, CRC climate smart combo, okay? And basically, like, aquifer protection districts is one of the, you know, that's one of the big things as part of the comprehensive planning process, to make sure that we're doing, regardless of whether the wells that are within that right now are owned by public or private, the protection of the drinking water for the public is absolutely paramount, as we've seen, regardless of who's actually pumping it. Because what you're paying as a water bill is for the delivery, okay? It's not really for the, like, the actual, you're paying something for the water, but realistically, like, it's for the delivery. So we need to protect those, because someday we might, as a town, be operating them, and there's not any new water getting created. And like, we're at a net, because ground aquifers deplete in a lot of places.
Would some of that money be eligible to have new aquifer protection plans, having professionals come in and?
Yeah, that's
We
what
had
this
on
does,
July-
basically.
I don't
Yeah.
remember what date it was, 2005, so that's probably hasn't changed, but maybe they would look at it and move.
There's technical assistance, there's a whole process. It's a great program. It doesn't cost us any money to get involved to start with, so.
But that's not, we did Glenford, West Hurley, and the old Hurley down here, two separate studies, but those are quite old. The CT now was
Up to
upgraded.
2021.
20
That's a water system.
That's it. Well, that's
Just
in
the aquifer.
case, no, it was a little bit of the aquifer, and the other part was, what we could provide the people on those well systems in that area.
The bottom line is this is like, it's a good thing, in my opinion.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. It's good. Showing water is a great thing. Before we go further, we're done with the resolutions here. We have one more.
We need to vote on this, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a second. Okay.
Oh,
We got cue cards.
All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 4, 1 absent.
I just want to say one thing, and maybe it's. To say one thing, this board here, we're not infancy. We're just learning. We're just moving around. I'm on the board the longest. Great Simpson is second. Everybody here basically are just rookies, more or less. But, you know, when it comes to rookies, it comes a lot of also enthusiasm. And I see that continually with both Diana, I should say both Diana, Tim, and Devin. I'm impressed. I really am impressed. They are a strong contingent coming through. Having John Perry on the board solidifies his board. Not on the board, but as a deputy supervisor, solidifies our legitimacy. Having Tracy Kellogg, in my opinion, is a blessing. She always yells at me. And you know something? I need it. And I accept it, and I thank you so much.
Rich Perry has the clerk sitting right next to him. He has me on the opposite.
But, you know, but again, we are just 5, 6, 7 people here. There are 6,000 residents in the town of Hurley. We need to have, 6,000 voices being heard. I would like for you people to go out and invite other people to come to the town board meeting, to volunteer. Volunteer. This is what volunteer is what makes this town run, and we need your help. So what's that? You want us to work? You come out and you make us work. And come through there. Before, we have another resolution to go into executive session, but before we do that, this might take a long time, the executive session. So we like to have our ending public comment period right now. If there's anybody who wants to speak, they do so. And
I guess I have a loud enough voice, or you could pass me the mic.
I would encourage,
Who are you and where do you live? Who are you and where do you live? What's your social security?
I'm Ann Kelly and I live at 119 Griffin Drive,
Are you
Hurley.
related to him?
Yes, that's where he got the big mouth too. But I would like to encourage the board to send the residents of Pine Street in West Hurley a letter about the lead. I mean, that can really affect people's health. And I'll tell a little story. Back when I was the chairperson of I might get emotional, of the Committee for Preschool Education at Onteora. We tested a little girl who had been exposed to lead. And she had an IQ that at the time was called mentally retarded. Now would be called intellectually disabled. And by being in a program and getting the right health treatment, her IQ did improve. So, you know, and I'm sure there's elderly people as well who may have some complications because of that. So I think you really have to be above board with what's going on there.
When I was notified, I was on, it was actually, I was on my way home. I was notified Friday around 4:30 going home. And, you know, the day at town hall was tough as it is on that Friday. It was full moon. I mean, werewolves are out. And all of a sudden, I knew something was wrong with the water. I figured that out. Then to get this message from Laura Nordstrom telling me there is something wrong with the water. It kind of broke my heart because I know exactly about that. I teach this in my classes, so I know exactly. I contacted the operator of Hudson Valley Water Company 3. A little emotional. I yelled at her. You know, and I said to her, "Are you making sure that you are contacting these people?" And she said, "The letter is going out right now." I said, "A letter takes 3 or 4 days to get there. Is there any other way that you can contact them? If not, give me their addresses, give me the phone numbers, and we'll get the town board to call them." You don't send a letter out. That's 3 or 4 days in the process when you're dealing with lead. You know, the minimum amount of lead or the maximum amount of lead in water is 0. There is no upper, there's no lower limit. It's plain ordinary 0. This is dangerous.
1 to 5, it's all right, but if it goes above 5, because I just noticed last week with my granddaughter, I had moved my daughter and husband and my granddaughter out of the house. My granddaughter tested at 6.5. And, you know, we moved them out immediately. And that, when they test them, they have to alert the Department of Health to go in and immediately test. So, they should have already been alerted. The Department of Health should have been alerted.
The Department of
Those
Health
people should have all been called.
At that time, they weren't called. I insisted that they be called, and I believe the operator went door to door, notifying them. I'm hoping that's what she did.
I did a lot of work with my friends over there.
I did get a letter from her saying that they won't be notified. I don't know in what manner they were notified, but I'm hoping
Do they offer them potable water?
they are,
Being supplied water?
they are going to be offering it. Yes, they are.
But I mean, like yesterday.
They
They
are,
should have Turco fill in the truck. like that.
Absolutely.
yeah, they are being offered that. I made that point clear to them, to give them water.
Now, I have another question. That well pulls from Pine Street.
Pine Street.
What about the rest of the surrounding areas?
Well-
Is it just from their pipes or
Well-
is it?
We don't see, whole thing is,
Their claim that they were trying to make, Mike, right, was that it was actually the customers' pipes inside the houses that were doing it.
that was the Hudson Valley Water Company saying that.
Right.
That's not Board of Health saying that.
Right.
All right. We also know at the same time that the water was tested. Now, this is, I find really absurd. The testing was done December 27th of 2023. That's about 6, 7 weeks ago.
Right.
So in other words, the water back then was tested for lead.
Why was it being tested? Were they testing everything?
No, it was just a normal test. What they did was a routine test. They took 5 samples. And out of the 5 samples, 1 tested for lead. That's 20%. Which makes it, if you hold that percentage, that's 4 households that could have it there. They're not sure if it's one house, but they have, the Board of Health has instituted all houses, all those houses have to be tested. But the only problem is, it took 6 weeks, 7 weeks to get the test coming through. We can't wait 7 more weeks to find out the others. And then also Hudson Valley 3, which has 67 residences, they also were tested on the 27th of December. Their results haven't come back yet. There's got to be a better method than this. And I think the better method is get rid of all.
I'm concerned about other, areas.
They,
Those wells are probably okay, but I'm thinking, in terms of
Well,
surrounding area, you have
yeah.
school,
right.
I back it, even though I have my own well, now I'm getting one.
Well, the thing is, what they are insinuating perhaps, the Hudson Valley Water Company, that when you do pipe fitting and so forth, you're using solder. Solder is lead.
Yeah.
So, so in a sense, if that's what it is, they dodged the bullet, if that's what it is. If it's in the water system,
Well, in either case, it has to be remediated, whether they
Oh,
put new pipes, whether they do, I don't know what they would do, but it has to be remediated.
there has to be quick remediation. That, there are tests, I know there are tests for lead that are done very quickly. What they were doing is they were testing for a whole spectrum of chemicals. That takes a while to go that whole thing. Hopefully that the testing right now is going to focus basically on lead and see what that comes through.
I mean, do we need to start calling them daily? Like, I would be willing to call them daily and inquire as to the status of things with them.
They don't
That's
know.
what it takes.
They don't know.
Well, that'll get the message across.
Hopefully they will. Hopefully they will. It's just, this is as serious as the arsenic pollution that was done in Boysville with the same water company. And this is 2024. And let's get this together. Let's get, any more comments? Any more public comments? Bill? Oh, I'm sorry.
Peter wants to do
Peter?
public comment.
Well, we got the Peter. He's queuing up there. So that's right.
No, that's fine.
So I'm very happy to hear that
Who are you?
oh, sorry, Peter McKnight, thank you. 91 Pleasant Ridge Drive in Hurley. I'm very pleased that there's a movement going forward on the highway garage. But I just would want to caution about the siting of that garage. In New York State, the courts have held that using parkland for non-park use requires permission from the
This isn't
state.
parkland.
Well,
This is not parkland.
well, hopefully you're clear on it. Hopefully you're clear on it, okay? And not just taking somebody's word for it, okay? Thank you very much.
Take the New York State Smart Word for it.
I will take this one. Hi, Peter Humphries, 22 Tanglewood Road. I am pretty sure that from the talking here is we know where this is. All as I'm asking is where are we looking to build this building?
So you're gonna talk about the next agenda?
This is,
meeting,
this,
right?
all right.
Why won't you tell me? You know where it is.
I already told you.
You
Mike,
don't have to respond, Mike.
so you're not going to give information of where it's going
It's,
to the public.
we've stated that there will be a meeting, the agenda.
But why
meeting.
won't you, I want to be prepared for it. I'm asking, you know it.
It sounds
Why
like
won't
they
you
give a
give me the
general
information?
proximity, but I imagine in writing, if you want to send something in writing, they can give you.
So the town board won't let me know where this
We have
building's going to be.
already mentioned it. We've already
They
mentioned it.
mentioned a
before.
general proximity.
Yeah, I only know the general proximity.
Well, I can tell you if it's on parkland or not right now. And if it's where they want it, it's on parkland.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks
Well,
for
we're gonna have a full
information.
session
We'll
at
check
the
it out.
end of the
We will check it
It'll
out.
be at the agenda meeting then.
There's also Native American and indigenous things that were found up there that were registered in some sites. So I don't know if you have been told about that, but there is. That's why I'm asking where it is. So when I come, I can let you know ahead of time that if it can't be there, then you'll know. I don't think you want to be bulldozing down things that are literally 12,000, 10,000 years old that have been registered at the Smithsonian.
Okay. Thank you for that information.
So you're not going to, no one's going to tell me.
Peter, we don't even know yet. We have an idea, general areas around there.
It's Mike Schultz. Mike knows. Mike, where are you?
Give me a second. Hold on,
This is
hold on.
public comment,
You're
not
talking
necessarily
to
you've
us.
asked questions, but obviously you.
Let it be
like
known
the
to
answers,
everybody
so-
that nobody's going to let me know where this building's going. So I think we have a big problem.
Okay.
And also know if there has to be a road put into this, just so everybody knows, Mike owns 54 acres next to that land.
Be careful.
Hey, Mike,
You don't have
Mike,
lots, right?
Mike, don't respond, please.
Thank you for all that information. We will hold that.
Any other public comment?
Bill,
Yeah, Michael,
you gotta say who you are.
Bill Kimball with Daily Freeman. The state open meetings law has been updated quite some time to include.
Sorry, we can't hear you back here.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's been a long night. My back is killing me.
You want me to add it?
No, I don't. It's, the state open meetings law has been updated for quite some time. Oh, excuse me, for the discussion items behind the resolutions to be included in the materials available to the public. Do you think it'd be possible to make sure that would be included? Because I saw lots of material that you guys had beyond the resolution. So
We'll get, yeah, they will be included.
everything that you guys.
Yeah, we will.
All of the contract.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, we have a folder, a binder here. You want one?
Bill, if you
Yes.
want me to Xerox it at the
No,
end,
but I
I'm gonna
mean,
be more than happy.
For going forward.
We will,
Posting it.
we will post it.
Would be.
Well, we have been posting it, and so we will post it.
Right.
If you would like a copy of that, I have.
Supposed to be X amount of time in it. That's all.
Well,
But yeah, say we'll take you up on your offer.
I have it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further comments at all? Lynn? Okay.
Are you gonna continue the meeting?
We-
Curious to know what a couple of these things are about.
What,
Couple of things on the back side of the agenda.
Full-time building clerk position,
we did,
are you gonna cover these things?
We didn't cover the building clerk. I don't think.
no, no.
And attend the meetings in October.
So why
Oh,
don't
yeah,
we-
I'm
why don't
sorry,
we
yes.
Discuss that after public comment.
Well, let's discuss it now because this might take a long time.
We'll close the public comment. So that.
All right. Okay, we'll close the public comment now and then we'll discuss, maybe part of that.
Motion to close public comment.
Second.
Okay,
All those in favor?
aye. Any opposed? All right, new business, full-time building clerk position. You know anything about this, Tracy? I think this was
I don't think any of these things should really happen here. I think that this was just an error.
I do, I kind of agree also in a sense. That shouldn't be there because that's new, this is new to me. I'm sorry that was put in. It just seems like,
It's an error.
yeah, it was an error.
If there's gonna be a position, you're gonna post it.
Of course, you're gonna post it. All right, the agenda meetings for October and November, which we held the second Tuesday, are gonna be held there. There's things going on at the West Hurley Firehouse. Comprehensive Review Committee,
We already heard from them.
right.
Short-term rentals.
This is what, here's the short term. What's going on?
Short-term rental, what it is, I'll just go through, I'll tell you what this is basically. Frank Spinelli, came up with a document for registering short-term rentals. And he also came up with a document listing all the short-term rentals in the town of Hurley. Putting this in, I just want to thank Frank Spinelli. His document that he gave us was right on and all his sites of the Airbnbs, we are going to investigate more or less. So we're going to check that out though. So I really want to thank Frank Spinelli. I left that out, I'm sorry.
Do you know where you got this list from? Because I already know two that are not on here.
I tell you the truth, it is.
That was just what was available on a specific query.
Well, no, I'll tell you where it came from. He was tasked to do this by the previous administration, and when he gave this in, he gave it in.
Every day.
Probably has an eye, I can check it out. Oh, no,
Is that-
Troy can search
Oh,
it.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, we discovered this. And so, and we liked it. We liked the documentation. Any other further? anything?
We give it to the building department.
Yeah, we closed.
Yeah.
public
All
comment.
right, okay, I have one resolution and,
Wait, I just have another question.
Go ahead.
What he's got on here, is this how the law is already, or is this proposals he's making? Because on here it says something about the person must be in the dwelling while it's being rented. Do we have that now? Or is this
Yeah.
we have that now, yes.
Owner occupied.
Owner
Well, it
occupied.
says, I know there's owner occupied, but it says they actually have to be in the dwelling while it's being rented.
That's what owner occupied
That's
is.
excellent, yeah.
But it's not being enforced. No.
The only thing that we have, if the property is contiguous. In other words, if they have a rental property here and then, and next door, I think that's, no, we didn't do that?
We didn't.
It's on the same property.
It's on the same
Has to be
property.
same property?
If they have an accessory dwelling, yes.
Okay.
But if they can't,
Adjacent properties are not.
no, because
I
somebody
think
could
we
own
changed that.
5 adjacent properties. And that opens the door to somebody buying up a street.
It says the owner must occupy and be on the premises during the term of the rental. Yeah, so that's what we have right now?
Yep. Yes. Okay.
We got kudos by the Ulster County Planning Board for our law.
Well, it'd be nice if it was enforced, that's.
Yeah, well, no, that's what we have to try now.
Well, it was sent to the building, so we know, and not to get into it, but we all know we lost our building department, Lynn, and we were very shorthanded when we needed someone to be doing that.
We
And
hired somebody to do it, we have. What else do you have, Mike?
Okay, and my other resolution here is a resolution to go into executive session, the purpose of discussing potential litigation matters, personnel appointments, and 3 personal disciplinary actions.
oh, cow.
Whereas the town board needs to discuss, I gotta work with my glasses on. Okay. Whereas the town board needs to discuss and review items that are appropriate for discussion in executive session due to the nature of the topic, and whereas it is the best interest of the town to invite individuals into the executive session, therefore be resolved by the town board and town of Hurley to enter an executive session for the purpose of discussing potential litigation matters, 1 personal appointment, 3 personal disciplinary actions. And further be resolved to invite Michael Schultes, John Perry, and town attorney Matthew Jankowski into the executive session. Do I have a second?
What about Tracy?
Tracy comes in automatic.
Okay.
She does the minutes.
Is the potential
No,
litigation that the town is thinking of bringing?
This is based on, well, did you say potential litigation?
Yes, he said potential litigation.
Yeah, it's
iffy.
It has to do with litigation that the town potentially will bring, but it's related to litigation that town's already involved.
All right, so it's in relation to,
I
what is
think-
the case that the town's already involved?
Yeah, I don't
Yes,
think that it's necessary. Well,
No,
I
the
disagree,
opinions offered by the,
and you can provide that at a future date.
no, I can also write about it. It's a really simple matter. It's on the advisory opinions. What is the case?
You provide advisory opinions. There's a reason why it's going into executive session, not being spoken.
Right, and the courts have ruled that the recommendation is that
And
provide X, Y, Z. So if you don't want to, that's fine.
What happens
It's not
to transparency?
But it's fine.
yeah, that's why there's this section under the open meetings law, so that it does not potentially affect future litigation by talking, discussing information in the public, but it will come to the public light after it's being discussed.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not
I-
your
I-
courts, and if you haven't looked it up, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah. And
You have not looked this up at all this time?
I disagree with what you are saying.
You disagree. I'm reciting what the courts have said.
Okay, well, they can provide you with a case law and like.
Or you could call Kristen O'Neill at the Committee on Open Government. That's their role under state law. It's about-
All right, we have a motion. We have a motion on second. Any discussion at all? All in favor?
Aye.
Let's go.
We didn't even have that many executive sessions.
So I'll give it to you. John, thank you. John, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I know that. Yes.
Okay, do me a favor. That's my secretary. I need a letter, email that way. When do they meet? They meet once, like, well, they meet when they're
Matter is
plans. Once a month, they meet, maybe once every 2 months. They meet. Depends on my-
It'll be on the web tomorrow.
I know. You haven't get a kid.
But,
Yes.
yeah, litigation that is already in the court.
I would think is related to other litigation that.
Don't do that again. Don't do that again. I think we found out.
Well, we just.
Phone number?
I know there
I'll
was.
give you a number to, Josh Boat.
Yeah.
Leave
Uh,
it.
He will- he will-
It's fine. Fine.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Meg?
okay. It's working okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Great to see you. Great to see you. Well, that's that extra resolution that you introduced. Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, it was on their agenda.
No.
Yeah, they can.
Well, we took it off because,
Thanks for coming.
so great since.
I need 30 seconds.
They weren't ready for it. So they came all the way up.
I gotta go in there.
No, but the timer costs.
What?
The timer costs.
I just feel the insinuation of talking that way to Wendy Church was uncalled for. I'm sorry about that, but, she's talking a lot of that, a lot of insinuation, a lot of, it can't be done that way. It can't be done that way. I'm sorry. I'm emotional. And I feel bad that I did it. I apologize to him. He had to apologize. I said, some things are, hey, she's my worker. She works for the town. You give her a break a little bit. So I have to go in there, all right?
I know, but
Call me.
Make sure I am.
All right, but you understand that was, I just.
I get it.
I'm sorry.
I had to ask.
You get to the point where, we can do something like that. You ever talk about it? I will do one minute. I would just say one is what happened to my student.
We're working on getting so what'll happen is when we stop the state of work, care about the
Recommendation.
to the meeting hour, I'll email it to her. And I'll email it to the secretary, just to make sure, like, there's 3 quarters, like, you have to email, like those. And then you'll have to put it together. So, after the city is right. It's a good system. Like I said, each one of them has a bonding account. So what MCS check up and created a signing, for. So, we're not having to bond agents in line or whatever. So, everybody, yes. Yeah. What I was gonna do tonight. So you know how you get that first login for you? So what I did tonight is, so, right, so, Hurley got
Send this to this meeting? Yeah, you can take it.
So.
If it's longer February, I got one extra day.
And if
But do we get paid for working an extra day? It's like 166 day year.
it changes, if I get the part to have to kiss all the place, because that's what I always do as of whatever the date is, so. So unless you see me a different day.
Just don't forget to also need to.
I tried to figure out, like, I ran out of.
So yeah, the video will do it tomorrow, whenever, thank you. I have a list of 20 things to do tomorrow, literally, so it's fine.
So.
I'll see you guys, have a good day.
So, the only thing, and I was saying this earlier, only thing. Later, I thought to play with some Googling of it, or ask MCS, the only thing that bothers me about this is I can't force it. Because it's a home. So when you do Google Meet, you're actually doing, that's what that was fun behind that. It's like, and I can't figure out, like, with like Zoom, whatever, like, I can't force the whole recording, the whole thing. So, and I don't know why, I've looked at the settings, I've played around. If you think of anything, really, let me know, or email
It's
me.
not the same thing as putting it on video.
No, right, like right now, I would love to pause it and just start it again when they come back out. So, yeah, right, yeah. So, and I was gonna say this to Jen and Kristen, but I'll say it to you. So, the Ulster County Information Services, has already created, we have to just get it in.
That's not any.
Rezoning for it's the same now, it's just.
That's easier to do. Watch that.
Good, right, but, when you guys do the MRI, please make sure they do, all the mapping and data as a CSV file and send it to Ulster County Information Services, because they will add it into the person. Okay?
So the only thing that we're gonna do is clear all of our outstanding things. Basically what I talked to the two market circles, so trying to do that. So what they do is they merge everything, so they hold everything over the rest of 8 years in the retail, and then merge into one data set. So I want their entire data set.
Okay, so.
Apparently it's meant, I was left out.
Okay, so we did an MRI, we also did an office, right? If you go on parts of the meeting, you go to Marble Town, there's extra layers. They can make extra layers, they can take or MRI and everything, and so when you click on a parcel, because that would be really helpful for the planning board and the planner that works with the planning board when they're doing reviews to be able to go on the parcel viewer and see the data.
Right, so there's two ways that, the way Ulster set it up is that the data layers are, straight overlays.
Right,
Okay,
I
so,
know it well.
all right, so it's just, basically looking for shape intersections.
Right.
So what I've been working on is just putting together the Python scripts to go ahead and take the data record for the parcel and just have like field properties to say whether or not on a particular layer, what's the value.
Right.
So that way you can pull up just in a spreadsheet or something like that.
Right.
To say, oh, it's, habitat 6 or.
Right, but, so, because Hudsonia did Marble Towns too. Hudsonia's doing, right, that's what.
Yeah, so we're gonna probably contract with them to do
Yeah,
that.
I mean, they know, yeah, because they know the area so well, they've done so many, they did all of Marble Town.
I don't think we need to pay for everything north of the reservoir. They did it when they did, Woodstock.
Yeah, right, so, and Marble Town's done, even up into the fly, which is what would be, which is what would be contiguous to Hurley.
Yep.
So, Hudsonia would be the best to do it because they've got all the data on it. So just putting that out there. They know, so they gave Town all the data in such a way that it could be added as letters by the Western County Information Services for parcels in Northern. So they know Gretchen Halstead, who is basically the person, I'm assuming everything's different since COVID, who knows? But Gretchen was the head person. So she's familiar with what happened if they looked at Northern's work. I'm assuming they did the same thing. They'll know what they need to, as a deliverer, for the client, to make sure that it's usable by the town when looking at projects.
Yeah, it's
Like the highway garage.
It's an ArcGIS
Like,
layer.
good.
And it can be exported or imported in a bunch of different formats.
Right.
That doesn't matter so much as long as the polygon data is good.
The other thing that that I know Marbletown did, and I think it was, if I remember, it was through Pennsylvania. They will do a training to train residents how to look for resources, like how to, they'll actually do a training. And I don't remember if it was through, it's been so long. And I couldn't do it just because of my physical limitations of walking through the woods. But I know several people that went through that training. And they were some were planning board members.
Oh, was this to kind of help with the field work? Was that the idea?
And it taught them how to look, what they're looking for. And they were trained by Hudsonia. So you should also mention to Hudsonia if that's through the grant, if that's how that happened. I just don't remember.
Because one of the pushbacks that we've been hearing is how do you get on private land to actually do some of these
And
assessments?
so they reach out, or there's Hudsonia has relationships with a lot of different people, or like being able to contact DEP and see if DEP will let you on certain areas. I mean, there's, I know they like can't look over DEP and since 9/11, but they may, or reaching out to a large landowner, the Hudson Valley Farm. They might, I'm sure that they would let people, because Brooke Pickering Pole that manages it used to be supervisor of marketing. So like she's all on board and she understands the importance of letting people get trained, and since they've let so much of it grow up from when it was an active farm in Gilson, there's a lot of opportunity to go and look for, different species, plants and what. Yeah. So they would be a good person. I bet you there's the Savannah farm up on it's at Dunk Hill on 17-6 for the mountain road. Yeah. They've got farm on both land on them.
Yes.
On both sides, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would, they would let, I don't know, 100%, but that's the whole thing is Hudsonia has letters, they know what to write, like they have this there because they do this. And again, don't remember if it's through a grant or how they get because it's like they train like I think up to 6 people. And they go through the whole training, and then so the whole purpose is that it's local people that can then continue to impart the knowledge, join the planning board. It's real, planning board members, having a few planning board members do it is really good because they're the ones that are at the table. They're the ones that are making the project. Yes. And so
Front line is
right. So definitely talk if it's still Gretchen, whoever it is that has something, ask them about that. First of all, getting all of deliverables so that it can be integrated into the already integrated, you know, the already available system. And the training for them, so I don't know if they've done it since COVID. I don't know.
I'll definitely ask.
Yeah, but Hudsonia is a great, and the fact that they've done it already, it's not another town.
Oh, that's right.
Like filling in the data, if they already have all that stuff.
I'm sure they themselves would love to have it.
Yes, and they're always good, they're always, like, they know what's needed for the grants,
Yeah.
they know the deliverables, like, they're really good at that. They were so, because I was the chair of the ECC before I became the planning and zoning clerk in Habitat. And I was on the CDC before that, so, so, in fact, if you look at Marbletown's aquifer maps, they are literally solely because of me. They didn't exist. And Catherine Boncat.
You guys, like, Arlington has a great set.
Yeah, so Catherine Boncat, and, so I actually colored all of those maps, different color, pieces, that different soils and whatnot. She gave me a legend, she gave me the colors, and I sat in the town hall, colored in little teeny spots, all different colors, and then it was ditch tracks. So those maps are as a result of, that was, you want that was 2004. 2003, 2004. And they were actually colored pencils. And I mean, the technology, not, that data doesn't exist for the town. Yeah, the ultra kind of soil survey exists, and that doesn't change. That's stagnant. So that's what gets used to create these big maps like that. And, she will give me, I don't see it's probably like blue, but anyway, so I just have to look for the different, 3 letters and color it with a color. So that was part of, we went back for extra money for our aquifer protection stuff because we had to create the maps, they just didn't exist. The data was in the book, but it didn't exist, Catherine put them together as a so there's that, and then I'm going to tell you, you guys should push the town to, transfer tax.
So, yes, it's on the list.
Good, because that's how Marbletown just bought a farm that no longer is a farm, that was on a main capital road, 112 acres, and it's in Whiteville. And the whole lower part of it sits under the primary soils.
Yeah.
And the field that we always knew that was a field that was arbitrarily true outside. And that really got across from the elementary school. I mean, it was like, so the town, between open space and the transfer tax, were able to buy it and protect it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it as like, this is a write-up, we should do it, but looking at the logistics of the fact that we didn't have an NRI, we had an ancient comp plan. Looking at the timeline says we're not going to get this in front of voters until November 25.
Okay, well, because
We'll
Marbletown.
do it, but that's what.
Okay, Marbletown's comp plan, the last time we did it was 2004, 2005. And I mean, I don't know if you're also doing that with Germany, but one of the things that we did with our comp plan, which was very unique at the time, was we created at the back of the plan a whole section that had a shorter time frame, because we took the option of all comp plan to be slightly more general, and then using the action items to get more specific. So, doing conservation subdivision, but in the beginning, we took the verbiage of it, and lot, and then the action items go together. So conservation provision, written, trust, and it's reviewed every 2 years. So that kept the comp plan current because it forced the town to have specific goals. And I have, write the conservation percentage, I think, so I like how to look at that. I helped write conservation subdivision. And one of the things that I really like to see her do is, so there's an appendix B in the zoning law. See, the other things that are in the zoning law. Okay? We put conservation subdivision regulations in the zoning law. This is like historical. The zoning law is a law. Subdivision regulations are much easier. Laws require amendments. So if somebody is going from the conservation subdivision a variance from the zoning board of appeals for the planning board. Right? So rather than putting it just in subdivision regulations, that actually been getting it. We should look at our kinds, they are still very relevant. But the one thing that I would really like to see in the data is if you look at the back of that, the conservation subdivision regulation. Ones, they basically tell you like 10% this, so 5% this, and then take the base.
Is this guidance from the planning board?
It's guidance for an applicant and the planning board.
Okay.
So it's like, they have to be, the applicant has to show the planning board how they do, how they follow that formula.
Right, so it's a template of how the presentation should run in order to satisfy.
I think any subdivision in Hurley should follow, because it's like 10% wetlands, and 5% areas identified as sensitive species. This does come from after an NRI. That's the key.
Yep.
That's definitely the key.
Like around here, I know it slopes, it's a big thing.
Right, and it says, 5% of slopes over 2% or something. And you take all that out of even being considered, and then you come up with those tracks of what's left to be subdivided. And you, if you're going to create more than 5 lots or more, you have to put 50% on the gross tract size as a permanent on that development. And you can do that in a number of ways. But the planning board has a say in where they want it. So you can't just take all the wetlands and say there's no 50%. We had a development right on 213 that goes between Stone Ridge and High Falls, which in coming towards Stone Ridge, we look up and just see the mountains. It's just open field with the mountains. It's like it's a view that, and coming the other way is the mountain. It's just a view that it was a really beautiful film. We were terrified. The family was like older, and so they ended up having to go to the conservation. The option that was able to but the planning board required, it ended up being 2 size. Right. So now drive 213 the direction of that same view that was coming on the house. You look down and you see a few lights here and there that would be because it goes down and like you can't even tell. You can't even tell the house is there as opposed to 9 houses. Little squares. So, but it does start with the NRI. You really should look at Morgantown's website. All of our plans are on the website. We really
I've been telling everybody it's one of the best things.
Yeah, we really did a lot of studies over the years, early this year, 2004, 2009. Brooke was instrumental in getting the agenda started. And she had a secretary at the time, so I have, you know, look at all, we've become good friends. We, you know, we're 3 months apart, same age, we're 3 months apart. And so we had one of the same, you know, inherent memories growing up. We, you know, we'd say dirty guns, you know, phrase, Marcia, you know, like, you know, just because it was our childhood, we had the same memories, you know. She's a wonderful person, very sad when she decided not to go to school. And was gonna miss her. She was, I mean, she does a great job with them. It's definitely a yes for me. She's, yeah. She's just a person that, you know, she's always she's absolutely wonderful. Like, you know, it wasn't about her and what she did. You know, this is really very connected, you know, and so she never she just stuck to the job description. The only job description of supervisor, they're the chief fiscal officer. That's it. Everything else is mostly like a goal. Work skills, get that handled. And, you know, so the job of supervisor is underpaid. Really has no description that they're responsible for everything. So those are just some thoughts, but I wanted, you know, you to kind
I
of
appreciate
see.
it. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. This is gonna be, very good.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, if it doesn't mean another meeting, you know, I'm around. You know, I'm happy to, you know, collect whatever data I can, whatever.
Appreciate it. I feel like I'm gonna be down here every week now for a while, so.
Yeah. And at some point, like, if you want, you can, like, I can take it from scratch, like, take it out of the closet, like, really just, there are instructions in between on setting all this up. I started today, I was setting this up to take pictures for the stuff. You know, with a picture with the label or certain thing, you know, and what it looks like when that, you know, because everybody has a different way they process information. And for some people, seeing the picture and looking at the screen, go, oh, so the document that I do create is going to have the instructions, pictures. But however people process information should hopefully, I don't think you were here in the beginning. Everything was talking MCS earlier. When at some point, whoever might be using this, need their name and their cell phone number so that when they go in the duo, by town, no.
Yeah,
You get the duo, right, but we'll need to add the phone number to this. So that when you're here logging in.
Well, just out of curiosity, can I log in my own account?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'll actually, in a lot of ways, be easier, because then I can just have all my folders set up, everything ready to go.
Right. But, you know, if you want to do, when you want to do like the sessions and stuff, you could either do it as yourself or, you know, because see now when this recording goes up, it'll say that it's needed.
Yeah,
So
so that's the
last
only thing,
time-
like if I'm running the meeting on my own account, it
It's
means
gonna
that
say
I have to transfer it into, if we wanted to.
But it'll say, so the first time I did it, kind of does a test to say I couldn't get into the meeting. For some reason, the password wasn't working, that's why I had to have to reset it. So when we looked at the video, it said planning a zone. Because I was logged in as me.
Yeah.
So that's why they created the meeting room, so that when people look at the video, they're not confused. Right. It's somebody from within the meeting is talking other than.
So this one doesn't have like a post editing, you know, quick fixes like that.
And I've seen that.
No, it's too bad.
But, So that's why, like, if you're gonna do workshops for the comp plan or whatever, that's why they kind of want us to log in through. But you can send, so if you saw, it has its own email address. So,
Oh, right, so I can send to meeting at.
Yep, exactly. Right, yes, so,
Yeah.
so here,
And I can
so,
also
you know,
send
here
a
was
sh-
Tom's PowerPoint.
I can send a share link to meetings. And I can
Yep,
actually-
Yep, exactly, like, you know, here's, you know, last, February 13th meeting, Samara had sent me the agenda, all the resolutions, you know, so you can email from the personal email, anything you want to present
Yep, I got it.
without having to log into your personal. So, yeah, there's actually quite a bit, and like I said, you can go to any website, you saw it, you look at the town board, you know, it's really actually pretty good. And that's why I actually really like each person in town having a Google. Because it allows us to use the Google features, share drives, I mean, I'm not wanting to me, but for me, you know, I have shared drives, I have planning board, zoning board, task force, you know, the escrow, like, I mean, I have so many shared drives, and it's great, because, but that's why, you know, the town pays for all of us, you know, whatever, the bucks for each team.
I asked for it, so it's like, I could see it coming.
Well, and not only that, but, you know, for longevity, it's important that it's saved somewhere here.
Backed up, so we have to get to it.
Yes, you know, that if somebody needs, you know, it's very easy to transition, you know, so, but, yeah, so, you know, I'm generally hearing the afternoons, so, you know, if you ever, or you can just, you know, the town early and say you agree here. So, yeah, oh, no problem, you know, I do hope that somebody is,
I'm, 95% sure.
And
It's really actually gonna be a mayor.
right, and that's why you gotta get in touch with them soon. because
We already,
you get-
we already reached out.
Oh, good, good. And definitely ask them about the training, because I don't remember if that was a separate grant or if they were doing. But yeah, it's like, it was like 4 or 6 Saturdays and it actually took years.
I mean, I'll definitely separate it into the, you know, scope of work for, you know, sort of field work and then scope of work for public education.
And, you know, most landowners, you know, there's landowners usually pretty good about plans.
He's like a jerk about it.
Yeah. Just
Or
like-
or you're stumbling across a
There
good
are,
man.
you know, there are people that are afraid if you find something that you have to do. You know. And so, you know, Gretchen was having.
I start the conversation with, and your property's not that interesting. But we
That's Gretchen was always very good about convincing people that he didn't want to do it. Didn't want to let people crack up.
It's no brave squirrels, there's none of that.
Right, you know, I don't know what magic words she had, but,